Hello, my beautiful viewers. I'm here in a coffee shop in Starbucks in New Zealand, and I'm truly honored and blessed to be here. I am going to hand over to beautiful Krista as our beautiful to continue. But before that, I want to have a shout out to our beautiful miracle man, Howard Brown, sending you all our love and healing, my beautiful one. Yes, my nails to you. And then I would love to say today's show is going to be exceptional. Exceptional. Because beautiful Kelly, she's all about diamonds and sparkles. And a lot of the things, especially one of your titles, two steps to the front and one back, I am using a lot because that depicts life. But over, all above everything, beautiful Kelly's story gives us hope and tell us we are all diamonds, even if we go through rough spots. So, my beautiful Kelly, I would love you to introduce yourself. And then I'm going to hand over to Krista. She's going to be our lead host for today. And then we're going to continue with the show. My beautiful Kelly.
Okay, I'm Kelly. I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, and I my book is written by Coach Kelly S. And that was I was still using my maiden name at the time, but I've gone back to my maiden name. I was using my married name at the time. I've gone back to my maiden name now, which is Kelly Protz. So that's who I am. I still have the letters behind my name, the MAED and BSW, but I got that education after I left the marriage that I was in that was the wrong marriage in the first place. and um, and after I left that marriage, I went back to school and I got those degrees behind my name. And I've had MS now for 30 years, multiple sclerosis, but I'm still walking. I can still see. I'm very lucky, very, very lucky. I was medically retired from work, so after I was retired, I didn't want to sleep. I wanted to sleep all day, but I didn't want to feel like that. I didn't want to feel like I want to sleep all day. I don't want to get out of bed. I want to curl up under the covers. I wanted to do something. So I took this virtual coaching class. And so now I'm a certified coach. I just haven't gotten online and asked for payment for my coaching yet. I've been a coach since I was 12 years old. I've been talking like a coach and I've been asking people what their thoughts are and what they think about this and how they feel about that. And I don't give people advice. I basically talk them I talk to them about how they're feeling or what they think deep down inside. And so I'm wanting to become a coach, but before that, I wrote a book during COVID while I was taking this course. I wrote this book, and I learned a lot about myself writing this book, and it really changed me. It changed, I think, for the better.
Wow. Thank you, my beautiful Kelly. So, my Krista, my beautiful co-host, my Rosebud, please introduce yourself and take it over, my girl. I'm gonna go off screen for a second. I'm just gonna see if I can go a little bit to the corner, but you are welcome to go ahead, my beautiful one.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us today. And as I read your book, I was so inspired. And when you were talking about being a coach, you literally had to coach yourself through life. So I just want the listening audience, the viewers out there, to realize this isn't just about a book about someone who has struggled or overcame MS or anything else. It's a book about resilience. It's a book about having to come up with your own, abilities, on the spot sometimes to push through. So I really wanted to highlight that. So I'll introduce myself quickly. My name is Krista Rose, and I'm an Amazon #1 best-selling author. And Sinette always makes me say the name of the book, Skip the Pain, Experience the Pleasure. And this is why, because my tagline is cut the crap that's holding you back so you can live the life you love. And that's really what it's about. We hold ourselves back. And I try to help people master their mindset so they can live a soul aligned life. I'm an international speaker, I'm a coach as well. I'm an energy worker. I do Reiki and different modalities, and I'm just really thrilled to be here. So, before I ask any other questions, I'm going to start with Gail to introduce herself and then Laura. So, Gail, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, hello. Thank you so much, Krista, and welcome, Kelly. This is going to be so much fun. Just relax and enjoy it. So, I'm
I
also
just
an
have to
author.
close the door. I just have to close
Sure,
the door. So keep going.
no problem. I'm also an author of multiple books and have also been a number one bestseller on Amazon. I love the fact that you're a coach. This is something that I've been involved in for many, many years, and I've actually evolved to actually being a spiritual coach as a result of my experience going through chemotherapy. And I wrote a book all about that. And now I get to walk with those who are going through the valley of the shadow of death and help them just face it. And so I love that you say you don't give answers. People are in their pain, they're in their situation, and they should have someone just witness it and just be beside them and honor the
Mhm.
fact that this is where they are without any excuses and trying to heal it. And I saw in your book and reading your story that you had to learn this lesson like me time and time and time again, and it was like the universe would say, Kelly, smack in the head. Okay, she didn't wake up. Kelly, smack in the head. Okay, she got a little bit, but not enough. Smack in the head. And so I'm so thrilled that you finally did turn that corner, and congratulations on taking your own life in your own hands.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. That's
Hi,
fantastic, Gail.
Kelly.
And
Mhm.
Laura, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Searching for my sparkle. Well, I don't think you have to align with girl power to have this innate knowing, right? That we all are sparkles, right? Universal sparkles, angelic
Mhm.
sparkles, spiritual sparkles. And I love the diamond analogy. We all understand that, right? Black is coal, and what's underneath those layers. And this is a little bit of insight into your book. As Krista always so beautifully expresses, the authors that we have that come on this show have such a depth of human experience that lends itself to become an inspiration and in my teachings a real empowerment, almost
Mm.
movement through your words. So every book, and especially this book, and I love it, Searching for My Sparkle, it you can even be a man and read this book because of what has happened in your childhood. So
Mhm.
I love this. And my team here knows, my fam. I don't like to say too much about myself, but just landed number one international best-selling author, Amazon three-time best-selling author. And I really coach and speak and study all around quantum fields of thought energy. And this is really how we think and how does
Mhm.
that thought process begin to create empowerment shifts so we can kind of chip away, polish away all of that dark coal and really shine in honor of Howard Brown, shine brightly. Um,
Mhm.
so thank you. And we are going to have just a wonderful time with you. We all have questions. And what's really unique is usually we bump on each other's questions. So it's very exciting for us too. But you just answer as you are because you're really an example of someone that, as Krista said, has a resilience just like innate in you. So we're excited to have you
Can I
here.
say something first?
Of
Can I
course.
say something
Absolutely.
first? About the title of the book? When I was going through my divorce, I was seeing a counselor, and she was smiling at me during one of our meetings, and I looked up at her and I said, "Are you laughing at me?" And she says, "No, I'm happy that you're going through what you're going through, because when you die, you're polishing yourself, and when you die, you're going to die a diamond." And that got me thinking about diamonds. And then I was in this coaching course, and we were coaching each other, and I would tell that story, and the people I was coaching said, no, you were born a diamond. You're just polished. You just saw yourself as coal for so long that that's what you see yourself as. But as you're going through your life, you're polishing yourself off, and your sparkle is showing through.
Yeah.
And so you're not. You've been a diamond your whole life. You just have to stop treating yourself like coal. And that's where I got that from.
Yeah, it's
That
in the
is,
book too. And
Yeah.
as we don't want to give too much away, but there is that moment there where you think your coach is not really laughing at you, but through your tears, but she's recognizing
Yeah.
your healing process. So again, that authenticity of what you went through now will make you an exceptional coach too. So
Thank you.
okay, Miss
absolutely.
Krista.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank our viewers from Diamond Beauties and the Tanzanite Heroes for being here. And, please leave any comments. We'll, give a shout out to you. And also for E360 for allowing us to have this amazing show. So I wanted to make sure I gave credit where credit is due. But I would absolutely love to start off. There's so many things I want to start off with, but I'm going to talk a little bit about your tagline and how that resonates. First of all, I can resonate a lot with you because I have a chronic illness, and many people believe it's MS because it kind of mimics the symptoms of MS. So I really empathized with it. And I also have to say that I believe stumbling on you and your book was divine intervention because it wasn't through us knowing each other. It was through someone asking me to be a friend request. And I saw we were mutual friends. And I saw your book and I had this, this vision. And I do believe every person on this show is meant to be. So Kelly, you are meant to be. Your book is meant to be here and people are meant to buy it. So I just want to put that out there. But so in your tagline, it says, you have within the strength to overcome any obstacle life throws at you. And I mean, I can relate so much. And a lot of that is psychologically, not just physically. And I do a lot of stuff with mindset and how we have to keep our mindset positive. And you talked a little bit about that, about living intentionally, how you had to intentionally talk to yourself. So instead of saying, I'm not broke, because that's what your body hears is I'm broke. Can you just talk a little bit about that and how you came up with that line and maybe what it means in your life?
It's thinking positively is not always a good thing. I know that. Sometimes I can think positively and negative things happen and you just wash over them. You have to walk through them. You have to walk through these negative things and go through the things that life puts you through. And going through them and working, living with them is sometimes really, really hard to do, but necessary. You necessarily have to walk through the difficulties in life. But I still saw a sparkling outline to my clouds, and so I would always try to work towards the sparkling outline. When I was going through my divorce and I just started school was difficult. It was a really difficult thing, but it got me up in the morning and got me going and getting dressed and ready and going to school. So that gave me a reason. It didn't give me a reason to be happy while I was going through my divorce, because that was the most difficult time of my life. But it gave me a reason, gave me something else to wake up for, a reason to get out of bed. And that's what I'm looking for now as a coach. I'm looking for a reason to get out of bed in the morning and hoping that selling this book and starting my coaching business will give me that sparkle in my eye again.
Yeah, well, you're definitely on the perfect platform for that because not only now are more people going to be exposed to your book, but now they get to see the author, the face, the person, the real person behind the book. And that's what people want to buy, connection, not perfection. So
That's why
yeah.
I was so excited about coming onto this today. I was so excited I felt like when I watched the shows before, like the videotaped shows before, I saw the author come in late, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to do that. And then I did. But as when each of you told your story, I thought, oh, I know how that feels. Oh, I've been through that. Oh, I've been there before. And I really, really want to do what you're doing right now. I really want to be part of the family. I want to be part of this group of people who are doing so much with their lives. You're
You
best-selling
yeah,
books, and you're coaches, and that's what I want to do.
you are doing it. So we'll put that out to the universe. Sanette, would you like to do a quick introduction and whatever else you can talk?
Thank you so much, my beautiful Rosebud. So, my beautiful Kelly, I am a voice amplifier. I create space and stages for incredible humans to come and tell their stories. And you are now part of my family as well. So, thank you for all your shares. Your book was truly magnificent. I love your titles. I just let me open my screen quickly. I love your chapter title, "A Diamond is Born," beginning my search for love, mountains and valleys. A spark is born, diamond when I die. And I love two steps forward, one step back, starting to polish. All about diamonds. Can you tell us when you decided on the titles of the book? How easy did that come?
Mm.
Well, I was in conversation with the publisher, the publishing company that I was paying through my teeth for, but I came up with those titles on my own, and I didn't have to change. I don't think any of them, because all these titles just came when I thought about that time in my life. It was a time when I was polishing my diamond. It was a time when I was born. It was a time. It was just it like they came out of thin air. Just what I was thinking at the time, at that time in my life.
I
Um,
love that. I
I,
have put on my goosebumps glasses. Thank
it's
you for that.
Yes, I should explain what that is quickly for the our new audience, and as well as for you. So when we have these aha moments, or like Sanette like to say, goosebump, or anything else moments, we put on some glasses to kind of so we don't interrupt, the flow of the speech, but it also kind of highlights, that. So when we feel this aha moment, that's why we'll wear our shades, as Laura says. I love that. And I just want to
I
give
saw that in the video
a
that I
shout out.
watched.
Yeah,
Teeth.
perfect. I
That's
want to give
good.
shout out to one of our amazing viewers. It's Coach Eve, and she's saying hello, everybody, and giving little emojis of a diamond. So she's really connecting, obviously, with this show. So thank you, Coach Eve, for being one of our viewers, and everybody else. We would love to see your comments. So, Gail, what's your burning question?
I have a few of them. I think I'm going to start. I wrote down the word turning point. And for me, what started your turning point was when you failed the class,
Mm.
you realized you needed to learn. And I have to say, what impressed me tremendously throughout this book is when most people would just walk away and say, the hell with it, you kept going back. And so you would go back and you would go back. Whatever you had to do to get the education and the training that you needed, you did, no matter what the odds were. So that point in time when you had a failure, what was that like? And how did you shift your life because of that experience?
Mm.
Well, at that time, it was a sociology class, and the teacher just stood in front of the class and lectured the whole time. People were audio taping his voice and making a lot of notes, and that's not how I learn. I learn by doing. And so I failed that class, unfortunately. And I just felt like, I I could learn that class. I know all this stuff. It was more like a history class, and he gave dates and he gave names of people from the past and what they did and stuff. And to me, that just, it wasn't interesting. When I had a social studies teacher in grade 10 who stood up on the desk and he was fighting with swords and he was, acting out the history, then I could learn. Then that's how I learned. And so when I took that university class and the guy just stood and lectured, I couldn't learn. So I decided to take a different class instead, one that was equally, that equaled that one. And so I wouldn't need that one for my degree. And and I did it. And that's how I did that. When I failed the last class in my master's course, um, like the professor was apologetic to me, and he gave me a 68 and I had to have a 70 to pass, and the university wouldn't let him give me 2 extra points, so I had to pay for that class again. But he taught me himself. He gave me 2 textbooks, and he said, you just um, give me a write up about each of all these chapters and these points, and we just need something on paper to show the university that you know your stuff. He says, I know you know your stuff already, but he says, I just need proof to the university to show that you know your stuff. So I got like over 75 in that class when he passed me. And when I was walking the stage, he said, congratulations, Kelly, and he was sitting in the professor's area. And as I was walking by him to go up to the stage to get my degree, he was happy for me. He was glad that I was finally convocating. And yeah, I just kept going. I knew
I love it.
I had a goal, and I wanted to reach that goal, and I was going to do it no matter what.
Yeah, you had a goal. So Coach Eve, by the way, she says, yes, that is the best way to learn by doing. So she concurs that that
Yeah.
is the best way. And I love that
That's
you
the only
just
way I
kept
learned.
going. You just kept going. It's talk about perseverance. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
All
all
right.
right.
So, like everybody, right, we have a long list of questions, and I have 3 that I want to start with. But I'm going to go right from the very beginning because I can relate to this for a moment. And yet, I think it's a very empowering question for those listening and will listen. You write about at the age of 3 years old that you were prepared to, and I'm going to use that terminology, run away from home. But at 3, that was a pretty high level insight for a little human. Usually 6, 7, and older, there's some connection to what's going. But at 3, there was already something in you stirring that you almost knew
Mhm.
this isn't quite right. There's something else for me. And then I can kind of continue this question though with the book, but I'm going to leave it at that. But this is what we're all starting to learn about you. There's something in you, and we can use these words resilient, empowered, tenacity, all of it, brave, courageous, but 3 years old. That instinct, that higher self was already reaching out to you. Just share a little bit about that because that's pretty special.
Well, I remember when I was having these thoughts and I was doing this walk around the house, around the house property or in the trees across the street and stuff, and I'm thinking, I'm having these thoughts about running away from home, but I'm only 3. Like, who would pick up a 3-year-old on the highway and give them a ride to the next town or to a telephone? They would go to a telephone and call my parents. I know they would. There's no way that anyone would help a 3-year-old run away. I'm going to have to wait till I'm older. But my dad was working in the garage, just walking distance from the house and through the forest, and I I knew where he was. But even when he would come home, he would not spend a whole lot of time with the kids. He was working, and he worked all day, and he worked really hard, and he had a sore back, and so he couldn't. I could never really get close with him when I was growing up. And Mom was always busy keeping the house clean and keeping the food cooked, and she would have renters come and rent the teachers come and rent the rooms from upstairs, and she would always be cooking for them. And so she was busy cooking and raising the kids that were growing up in the house and looking after the renters. And so I didn't have anyone that I could connect with. My sisters were both in school. They were 7 and 9 when I was born, so they were both in school all the time, and I didn't really have anybody to connect with. I can't remember what the question was.
That's okay.
Why
You
do I
answered.
have?
Yeah, three
I'm
at
sorry,
three.
my MS makes me forget a lot of stuff. I'd love
No.
to answer the question. If you'd ask it again, that would be great. But
Yeah, it was just
I,
that part of you, that nature in you that already knew at three that there was
yeah,
something bigger that you could connect
yeah,
to outside of what was that present
yeah.
situation.
It wasn't nurture. It was nature for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Beautifully answered. Thank you.
Yeah, that was amazing. And you know what? I picked up, again, a lot of us read and have similar thought processes. So I was going to start with the 3-year-old as well. But since we've bounced off the 3-year-old, I'm going to talk a little bit about an overall theme. And this is about, I guess, the feeling of being ignored,
Mhm.
neglected, not loved. And when you think about it, love is like a basic need. And throughout your story, there's been so many times when people either didn't believe you, when I was amazed. This actually happened to me as well. But when a doctor said to you, "You don't have MS," what? You're diagnosed, not diagnosed. I had the same thing. Someone said it's 1 in a million chance that you have, what I have. And I'm like, well, someone has to be. They're like, there's no way. So when I seen that with you about the amount of times that you went without, you could have turned different ways, right? You could have turned towards things, substances or things to numb the pain, or you could have, kept going the way you did. How did you find the energy, or what kind of tools did you use to keep going? I know working even through, divorce and different things like that, but, not having those basic needs, but yet now being such a loving, person and giving and generous person, tell me how you ended up going from that, not having it, to now giving it.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I thought that writing the book would tell me the answers, but I have no idea. There was a discussion group that I was in. All these people had multiple sclerosis, and we were talking about the people in Saskatchewan and Manitoba and Alberta, and how, like, why they asked me, why do so many people in with the area where you live have multiple sclerosis? And there were people from the area that I live in, and I didn't know what to say. How am I supposed to know why so many of us have MS? So I just said, because God thought that we had so much of an advantage being so beautiful, being as beautiful as we are, that He had to give us something, to fight for. And so we got MS. We have to fight the MS instead of, because we're all so beautiful. And the other girl who was from the same area said, "Yeah, that's why. That's it. That's the reason." But I don't know where I got it from. It's just inborn in me, I think. From writing my book, I thought I would find all the answers. I didn't. But I think it's just inborn. It's just something you're born with,
Yeah.
something I have to deal with,
Yeah. I,
which
I
is
think the answers, they are because it's you. You have that in you. You're that gentle, beautiful, amazing soul who innately, chose the right path, and is continuing to not only write the book and empowering other people with, because, we're the chosen beautiful ones, 100%. So, fantastic answer. And thank you. So, Gail.
Okay, so Kelly, I've had the opportunity to interview a lot of women who have experienced sexual abuse, physical abuse, drug abuse in their childhood. And there they've overcome it in their variety of ways. I would I would want to ask from that, you still believed in love.
Mm.
So after going through the confusion of not finding the right love, how would you define love for yourself now? And how is that manifesting for you?
I heard a line in a movie once that said, love is finding your um, yourself in another person."
Mm.
And um, and I think that's what I've done. The guy that I'm with now, he was a pharmacist for 45 years, and I have a master's. He has a bachelor's. He didn't need a master's to be a pharmacist when he became a pharmacist, but he said, "Oh, you're smarter than I am because you have a master's and I only have a bachelor's." And I said, "But you've got a pharmacy degree in pharmacy." And he said, "Yeah, I don't have a master's. You have a master's." And you know, I do. I have a master's, and I have a certificate in virtual coaching, and I've done all this stuff. I just wish that I could do more. I wish I could help more people. What was the
You will.
question?
So you found love by finding yourself
Oh,
in someone else.
yes, yeah, in someone else. Yeah, a portion of myself in him.
Mm.
I see
That
myself
whole
in him a lot.
experience is so much hope for some people. I just think that's fantastic because, man, you failed many times and you still picked yourself up and went out there. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, Sinette, you have a
Thank,
question?
thank you, my beautiful one. So, I just wanted to ask, what has been the most surprising thing you've learned about yourself while writing this amazing book?
My resilience, like I can't believe how confident I've become, and I'm still not a person to talk in public. So this interview was really scary for me. I even before I came on, like I was nervous to get onto this site, but I realized that I do have things to say if I can remember what they are. But I can. I have confidence in myself. I never thought I did.
Wow, that's beautiful. So, my beautiful viewers, just click down below. You will be able to read a little bit about beautiful Kelly. You will be able to find her link to join her community, and you will also find the link to her book. And then all the co hosts, all their details is down below. So please click in below and go and visit, go and see and make a coffee chat. Yesterday I had my 604th coffee chat in 3 years and 5 months. I met incredible souls around the world and just connect. All over to you, my beautiful Laura.
Thank you. So I think you just answered the question that you asked yourself too. You have discovered so many beautiful aspects about yourself through the writing. One of them is confidence. Like when anyone reads your book, it was always there, even though there were patterns, and you would go back to places you didn't necessarily belong, relationships. And we all, when we're teenagers, and as we have talked about, we try to numb out some of the pain and the
Mhm.
abandonment, etc. But you always found a way. And I really loved how, even though, let's say, you kept going back to your ex-husband, there was a moment that you knew, like, why do I keep going back? But you have learned to recalibrate that pattern of going back no longer to him, but to other aspects of yourself that are really magnificent. So I just want to honor that in you. I think there's so many answers in that book about how truly beautiful you are. Reread it again, because I think you'll see that in you, which leads me to this question that I thought was quite, again, another quite remarkable aspect of who you are. I have a term in my coaching called empowerment shifts, and something that you're doing both with your mom and dad that maybe other people would have never been able to do with them. But you are starting to say, I love you when you talk on the phone
Yeah.
and you hang up. And this is a big deal for you, for them, for the legacy of your
Yeah.
family. This is huge. Knowing at 3 years old, you began to go through this very specific journey that could have led people down a very dark hole. You actually are changing and shifting the legacy of your family. And though your dad seems more readily to say, I love you, mom is starting to come around now. So, talk a
Well,
little bit
she does
about
it.
that.
She comes around every once in a while.
Yeah.
I talk on the phone more often to my mom than I do to my dad. And I say I love you before we hang up every single time. And when once in a while she'll say that back, I'm just in a good mood for a week because she's never said that to me before. And I know she does. I know that her parents never said that to her. I know that she doesn't feel the need to say it all the time. She feels like I should know because she does so many things for me. And I guess I should know. I probably should, but I tell her every time. And I see that when I see my grandkids, because my grandkids tell me all the time that they love me. And I don't see my grandkids very often, but when I do see them, they tell me they love me. And
Mm.
my son, that's because my son raises them the same way I raised him, telling him that I love him all the time because I felt that I missed out on something when I was growing up that my parents never said that to me. And when I was with my sister and she was raising her kids and she was telling them that all the time, I thought, wow, that's really something. I'd like to do that with my kids. And so I did, and I do. And of course, now it hasn't really worked out for me in best, but hopefully someday they'll realize that, yeah, I still love them.
Yeah, and again, read when you read the book, you'll understand a little bit of some of the shares that you're offering through this. But we don't, right, we don't do things to get, right, we do things to give. And it is
Yep.
nice though when you hear I love you. And I love the story about the grandbabies because that's again, the nature. They have no judgment for or against it. And I just think it's very important for the readers to know that even though someone maybe did abandon you on some level, that doesn't mean that you become the very essence of that structure of abandonment. And I think that's really important in what you're doing with your parents. I think that's just a very beautiful gesture. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing because, as you were talking, I was thinking, you know, although you didn't have it, but you're giving it and being on this show right now. And when Sinette was talking about, having so many coffee chats and how you were saying how nervous you were here to come here, this is stepping out of your comfort zone. And right now, you're inspiring so many people to A, come out of their comfort zone, talk about something very vulnerable. I mean, you're talking about your book, and your book is about your life experiences, but it's also the lessons of your life experiences. And now coming on live TV and sharing it with all the amazing viewers. So I really just want to commend you and honor that because innately you are inspiring so many people, even though maybe you never received it yourself. So it just comes to you naturally, even if you don't recognize it. I know many people will and will connect with that. But one of the lines, oh my goodness, I love is when you said you felt blessed to have MS because you were able to go back to volunteering. You were able to go back to school, and you were able to write your book, and you got out of a marriage. And a lot of people think, why would you say you'd be blessed? And one thing I've always lived by, because all of us here have gone through life incidences and different things, hurdles, is that sometimes our biggest blessings are our biggest battles or biggest tragedies. So I just really wanted, can you talk a little bit about that and why you decided that was important to put in the book?
Well, because like I was walking. I don't know if I told you this story about walking with my mom, and she said she's proud of me for the first time in so many years. She's never said that to me before. And I said, well, now, why are you proud of me now? And she said, because every time, everybody that we know who has MS is either stays in their house or it moves into a nursing home. It doesn't do much of anything. But you come to Yorkton every month and you come for me on my walk that's 2 kilometers every single day. And I said, yeah, but Mom, how many 91-year-olds are still walking 2 kilometers every single day just to pick up the mail? Like, that's only a few feet away. And I said, I know where I got that from. I get it from her. And we do have a closer relationship now. My siblings don't so much. My oldest sibling, who has MS, stays in her house a lot. Broke her foot and her ankle in short succession, quite close to each other, and we don't see each other very much anymore. But we talk on the phone, we stay in touch. But I have a sister who's also a nurse who I don't stay in touch with because she travels so much, and we message each other on Messenger, but very seldom and very little. And my younger brother, he helps out mom and dad once in a while, so I'll send him a message on Messenger saying thank you for helping mom and dad out. But we don't stay in touch much either. He's been to jail and he grows marijuana and he's very proud of that, and I'm not. So we don't really stay in touch very, very often. But when we see each other, all of us, we hug each other and we love each other like we're siblings, like we should, not like we're in sibling rivalry like we usually
Yes.
are. But
And
that's when we're apart. So
yeah, I know there's so many people watching this. I know for myself, it was like an aha moment because it's very similar. I may not speak to a lot of my family members on a regular basis, or sometimes it goes by months. But when we see each other, it's different. We go right back to that, that the focus of love. And so that I know so many people are going to be able to resonate with that. As we keep going, Gail, what would you like to jump in and ask?
Yeah. One of the things that impressed me throughout the book was the fact that you did an awful lot of social work long before you even had a degree. And
mhm.
so, can you share a little bit more about that particular work, especially when you were doing that for recently released prisoners?
Mm.
Oh, okay. I already had my social work degree at
Okay.
that time, but I was working and I wanted to apply for this position that headed up the serious offense program. And they were with, okay, when I was working with accused people who were charged for the first time or who did an offense that wasn't that serious. And we would do mediations between the victim and the accused. But the program that they wanted to start up was doing mediations between victims and the accused, like no, victim and offender. So the offender was in jail, like it could have been a sexual assault or something like that, and so somebody that was just recently released from prison who wanted to rehabilitate. The volunteer work that I did was with the recently released from prison, and we would meet with him and have coffee with him, and just once a week or once every 2 weeks, and just talk with him about what he's doing, where he's going to apply for work, and where he's getting his food, stuff like that, so that he wouldn't have to go back to the people that he hung around with when he was committing the crimes that he committed. And I mentioned once at a meeting that I didn't go walking around Wascana Lake very often by myself. And he said, well, why wouldn't you go by yourself? I said, well, because I'm a woman and I'm small, and he's this big muscular guy. And he says, well, I'll go with you. I'll protect you. And so I said, okay, let's meet. And so the two of us, we met at the park and we walked around the lake, and he was
Mhm.
walking with his head held so high because he was protecting me. And
Yeah,
I was feeling good because I was getting him out in the public, and was, like I wasn't scared of him at all. Um, and I
amazing.
had no need to be.
Yeah.
And yeah,
That's a,
I felt good. I felt as good as he did.
it
I
shows
want
you.
to emphasize this was volunteer work,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
this
they
is
didn't
a
get paid
time
for it, but
I just wanted to bring up on this show has been so amazing and has flown by. We're not done. So this is called the speed round. So what's going to happen is Laura's going to ask three questions. I'm going to ask three questions, and they're only going to be like one word. We're going to say one word, and you say the first thing that comes to your mind. It can be one word, it can be a couple words, and Sinette's going to do a paparazzi kind of shot, and so you can smile when you give your answer. So I'll start with Laura. You say your first three.
All right, wonderful, Kelly. Well, I'm sure, like Krista, there's a lot of words that we could offer for you to have this very instinctual response to. But my first one is joy.
relief.
Ooh, like
Good.
that. Beautiful. Ooh. My second word is self love.
um, Self love is just, what one word, self love.
Or it could be a few
It could be a
words.
couple words. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
Care.
love
Oh,
care. See, I
nice.
love that. I love that. And my third word is sparkle.
Oh, diamond.
Yeah.
Of
I love
course. I will jump in quickly as I'm watching the time. So my first one is believe.
it.
Insight.
Ooh.
Oh, amazing. Blessed.
Happy.
Oh,
And my
that was.
last word is intention.
Mm.
Intention.
Yes.
Drive.
Oh, fabulous. Ooh,
Absolutely fantastic. You did
yeah.
so well.
I love
Absolutely.
those
Yep,
answers.
yep, 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 yep.
Yes. You nailed them. So,
Thank you.
Sanette,
Oh, wow, wow, my beautiful viewers. Did you enjoy this show today? And beautiful Kelly. So, Kelly, how are you feeling at this moment, my beautiful one?
At home. I'm feeling at home with a group of ladies that I have so much in common with.
Oh, yeah,
I'm so glad I added you to my friends
I,
list.
I'm in tears. My beautiful Krista, how are you feeling at this moment? Bringing Kelly all the wine. It was just the wine, the wine, the wine.
yes, I'm feeling extremely grateful and I'm so connected. Kelly was sent to us literally by whoever you believe in, God, the divine source, universe. This is meant to be. There's no coincidence.
Mm.
Beautiful. My beautiful Gail.
I agree. I feel connected. I feel inspired. I feel enlightened. This was quite a journey that you shared in that book, and people should read it just to understand what it means to just keep going, keep going, keep going. Thank you.
Wow, beautiful. And my beautiful viewers, I'm very excited that Gail is going to be one of our permanent co-hosts coming from next week. So I am so excited, excited. Thank you, my beautiful Howard, my miracle man, for introducing Gail to us. She is my love bug. I love her. My beautiful Laura, with your beautiful questions, how are you feeling?
Yeah, today I'm feeling admiration for Kelly. I mean, we've had a lot of powerhouse authors. There's just something there. I think about that little 3-year-old. It makes me go back to a scene in my life very early on and where she ended up at 16 and then in her 20s and all of the trajectory of her life. So a lot of admiration for you. Carry on. Keep going.
For
Yes.
me, my
Well, I'm going to be
beautiful,
60
yes,
in December.
wow.
I'm going to
Beautiful.
I'm going to be 60 in December, so yeah, it's taken a while, but I'm finally happy.
I'm
No
so
time,
happy.
no time in the universe.
I'm so
And
happy.
Miss
Yep.
Annette, how are you feeling, my dear?
I'm in a coffee shop. Can I do a silent scream? So today I'm going to be at my grandson's school for a high tea with the grannies. I'm looking so forward to it, but I could not miss our beautiful show, Kelly. You were amazing. I cannot wait to have a coffee chat with you and also invite you to the Diamond Beauties Forever group. More diamonds, my beautiful one. And I always say, stick with me. We are going places. We are going places. My beautiful viewers, I hope that you love the show. We do have a shout out from beautiful Christiana that gives us sunglasses. Thank you, my beautiful coach Eve. And then my beautiful Kelly and co host. Will you have a dance with me?
Sure.
My beautiful viewers, will you have a dance with us? They said yes, they said yes. Here we go.
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain. Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun. Sprinkle me with fairy dust and cover
Bye
me
bye,
with
everyone.
Bye, everybody.